Okay, today I'm gonna show you what it's like to go to a lot of the business places here in Indonesia, starting with our Alpha Mart, which is like a 7-Eleven. In fact, it basically is a 7-Eleven in Indonesia. You have all the products like your baby food over there and your uh, laundry soap and laundry uh, detergents, and then you have drinks over here, and here we have shampoo and health cleaning supply, whatever, uh, and they have all kinds of stuff, just like the 7-Elevens they have in the U.S. Um, Over here you have the sweets and stuff, and then you have ice creams over here, and there's an ATM. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and show you what the typical uh, places are like here in Indonesia. Uh, Now, if you don't live in a big town where they have a lot of government buildings and they have a lot of uh, schools and stuff like that, you're gonna find a lot of little places like this that open up, and you can see they have uh, like chicken stuff and little little fried foods. Most of the foods in Indonesia are fried foods. Um, and then across the street is a nice place where they have or they have fruit fruit drinks, and it's actual fruit that they put into water, and they put milk in with it, and they in and or like a cream in it and so forth, and they serve it in bags. Okay, and anyway, this is a typical area in Indonesia if you're not living in the big cities where they're more westernized. Over here, you'll see this is a restaurant, and if I can get across the street safe, you have to really watch yourself because uh, the traffic can be really hard if you don't know what you're doing. But a typical restaurant will have have just like some tables and some stuff right there, and they always have like a booth set up like this in front of it. Um, Over here is water because if you need to get water, most people get their water for drinking from these places that distribute 5-gallon bottles. I get three 2 times a week, so I get 6 bottles of drinking water or a month. Here's another restaurant right here. My favorite, because they go ahead and they put goat meat and they charcoal it on this thing, and so it's one of my favorite places where I'll eat because I like to have the goat meat that they make, and it's all with like Japanese style food. So I like this restaurant, and I love the people here. All the people here. If you're used to living in the U.S., the the people in Indonesia are so friendly. Now, I'm coming into one of the grocery stores they have in our community, and this is a typical grocery store in the community. You can see they leave things mostly in boxes, and you have all the food. Panggilkan my husband. Yes. Oh, bahasanya okay. Nyambung. Aku nggak ngerti bahasanya. I come here. We come here. My wife comes here, and we get food from here a lot. So, the owner is introducing us. Anyway, I'm gonna show the store, okay, and see you have like your macaroni noodles and they have all kinds of foods on the shelf here. This right here is shampoo and your soap. Uh, these are like your stuff you add water, like fruit drinks, and this is one of my favorites. It's basically vanilla milk that you put in your water. And here's coffee, uh, toothpaste. But anyway, this is what a Indonesia grocery store usually looks like in a small town. And here we got some vegetables and so forth. Uh, they have eggs and stuff like that. Here's rice and so forth, and then over here is oil, the bread. Anyway, so this is a typical little uh, grocery store in Indonesia, and then like I said, they're going to be uh, these little booths where they sell right here. They sell tea, and see the typical tea prices are usually around 3 to 5 ribu, which we'll say 5K, which ribu means thousand, and 16 ribu is $1 in the U.S. So that's just like a fraction of the cost. So it's very affordable to live in Indonesia, and one of the reasons why I moved to Indonesia was because I am on a disability income where I basically live on $1,000 a month, and in order to live in Indonesia, it's a lot easier than the U.S. because it's about 80% cheaper to live in Indonesia. I pay uh, $100 a month for my 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom house, and I pay less than $100 for my electric, and I pay less than $40 for the Wi-Fi. This is another restaurant that they're getting ready to set up, and like I said, they always will have like a booth up in the front. And see, if you see this, you got like all the food will be setting up here and so forth. Uh, but here we have one of the stores I go to whenever we need to get just like uh, housing things and little basic things like stationery, and it has uh, all kinds of stuff. It has all kinds of stuff that you would just pick up that you would have around the house. Um, there's things like belts and shoes and uh, things to clean the house with. You have uh, like your pans and dishes and so forth, and uh, you'll have a bunch of shelves with all kinds of stuff in it. So when if I don't need food, I'll come to this store and look for things. Usually we buy batteries, but I mean there's this is like the department area for housing supplies and stuff like that. And there's some there's some dressers here. Like this dresser is 370 ribu. 370 ribu would be 160 is $10. So it's about $20, 20 $23. So uh, as you see, this is how I would find stuff to put around the house. There's crock pots, there's little ice buckets, and so forth up here, and even ball caps. And over here, you can see in the back shelves they have electronics that people ask for, umbrellas. But anyway, this is how this place would look. Now coming up over here, across the street is a school that they have for young students like in their 20s to go to Japan and be a part of the workforce, because a lot of people move to different other countries to go ahead and work, and they bring the food or bring the money back to Indonesia to support their families and so forth. This right here is another uh, little. This is a nicer little shop that has little knickknack foods, and then they sell cigarettes. And these are what cigarettes look like right here. And over here you have uh, noodles, like ramen noodles, and then they have some of the uh, dish soap and sink supplies and so forth like that. So as you can see, there's a lot of these types of stores here in Indonesia along the streets, and you can walk to them. You don't have to uh, take a car. Now, if you take a car and you live in the U.S., it's probably harder to deal with the traffic here because you don't know how to drive here. So it's better to get a cab, and a cab usually runs you around $1 or $2 for a or 2 mile trip. So it's not very expensive to get a cab and have a cab, and it's a lot safer if you're a U.S. driver and you're not familiar with how to drive here in Indonesia. And anyway, when I uh, was looking for a place to live, I needed a place that I could afford to live on $1,000 a month. And Indonesia is one place that it's very peaceful. It's very independent. Um, I uh, wanted to have uh, a a person in my life, and I wanted to make sure that I was getting involved with somebody that was serious about having a relationship. And Indonesia is one of the places where they're very serious about relationships, and the divorce rate is very, very low, and people are it's mandatory for people to have uh, a marriage relationship uh, in order to be involved. Now, here's another store right here, and you'll see they hang a lot of their packets up like on a clothesline, and these coffees and these uh, little packets will be up front of a lot of the stores. They have the uh, stuff you mix in with your drinks and so forth. And here you have like all the little sweets, and here's the little detergents for washing with and so forth. And here's where I go, or we go to get rice and eggs and stuff from the corner because this is right next to our house. Uh, all right, as you see, also, I have been walking up and down this road here with this camera, and everybody have been very welcoming to just allow me to film. So, like I said, Indonesia is very friendly, and even though if if you're not Muslim, you you'll still feel welcome. They're very friendly here. They're 80% of Indonesia is Sunni Muslim, and so you're gonna you're gonna experience the most friendliness you have ever felt compared to living in the U.S. because U.S. is not one. U.S. can the our we're more uh, into ourselves, and I'm not trying to be uh, inconsiderate and badmouth the way our culture is, but it's it we're often just too involved in other things that we don't have a social life to involve ourselves with community and with with people around us. Um, but anyway, I'm coming up to here, and you'll see there's this is how the waters look and so forth around here. Uh, you're you're gonna see that there is uh, a lot of grown up, everything's grown up grass and so forth compared to in the U.S. But coming back to how markets are, you can see here's another market. We have uh, you have the foods will be hanging up. See, and there's cigarettes and there's all kinds of coffees and things. Everything is hangs up in on little packets. And here we got another place where you get lights, and there's all kinds of fixtures for electronics, for lights, and so forth. There's a lot of little shops like this. They just open. They have like these open little uh, garage spaces and so forth, and shops and stuff will be uh, I'm coming up to the where the garbage and the trash is processed so that we keep a place cleaned in our town. Is the trash is all dropped off over here, and when they work here, they go ahead and they separate everything and they ship it to wherever they're gonna ship it. But this is where the trash goes, and this is a typical field in Indonesia. Is you'll have a lot of these fields out here, and see over there is a house community. A lot of the houses are built just the way I have in the other video of where I live in my gated community. The houses are all built together, and then they're gated up. So you have to have like a, a phone to unlock or to move the gate and so forth like that. And they usually have like a little door. Here is the fruit drinks I was talking about. Now see these. This is like an avocado drink, and this is a mango drink, and it's all cut and put in. Hi, I'm showing Indonesia marketplaces today. Hi, and so and then right here they'll have things like they're cooking uh, the soup, huh? Bento. Cilok bulat-bulat. Meatball? Are they like meatballs?
Like this.
Oh yeah. They're like they're chicken based meatballs. Okay. And then that right there is like it has food in like little food in the pasta wrapped stuff, and everything is steamed or fried mostly in Indonesia. Uh, okay, coming up here, I'm gonna show you the cemetery in our town. Now, see, like I said, I am walking up the street without getting permission to camera, and people just allow you to film, and they're very uh, friendly, and they're very accepting to let you film around here. This is the cemetery up here, and as you see, it's nothing like the U.S. cemeteries. Uh, I want to come with my brush cutter and do the yard work around here because it would make it look a lot nicer. But this is how a typical cemetery looks in Indonesia. They all look very similar to this. This is how they'll be set up. Over there is a, a gated community, you know, behind, and then right up here, if you see across the street, that's a that's how the typical house places get. And see, there's a wall along the thing, and then there will be a gate on the other end. And So the houses are all built together. Okay. Now I'm coming up over here where there's a mechanic garage. Oh, wow. Okay, so I was going to show you one of the fancier restaurants here in our neighborhood. But right here is the garage. This is Saturday, so a lot of time you'll have businesses that don't work on Saturday. Uh, and a lot of the food markets don't even open up until later in the day. And at night will be the best time to go out and get all kinds of street foods here. Uh, this is a pharmacy right here, and they have the pharmacies that you get from the doctor in the back, the medicine in the back, and then they have the typical stuff that you get for headaches and cramps and whatever in the front. Um, and you can see right here we have the clothing store. Hi! And over here is a, a cage, a place where you can get cages for your birds and stuff. Uh, but yeah, I moved to Indonesia because it is very cheap to live. The people are friendly. Uh, my my wife is a Christian that I met on Facebook, and uh, she was raising her grandson, and I just fell in love with her, and uh, I was posting Christian posts on Facebook with her for about 2 years before we actually started talking to each other on Messenger. And so, anyway, that's a little bit about how uh, I got interested in moving to Indonesia. Here's another restaurant, and as you see, if you look, you can see the different types of foods they have. But this is these restaurants that they have along the street. They they're there's a lot of them, and they whoa. Okay, I gotta try and get across the street again. Okay, there are a lot of them, and they're very friendly people here in Indonesia. So uh, people make you feel welcome, especially if you're an American coming to Indonesia. It seems like uh, they treat you somewhat like a Hollywood star. A lot of people like to take pictures with what they call bule, a person that's foreign. Uh, Here is clothing department store here. and they make they sell wood and stuff up here. But yeah, this is what you can expect in Indonesia. There's a lot of shops and stuff along the street. A lot of people are just little families just trying to make ends meet, and they have like little shops and stores. Here's another shop here with a table of foods. Oh, and here we got fresh vegetables and so forth. And there's there's vegetables up here, and then in the back they have uh, the coffee and drinks and little knickknacks, the seasonings and so forth on the line. Okay, and then right over here is a place where they have. Uh, I don't know if they're building here. They're probably building here, but anyway, this is uh, the typical thing you'll see in Indonesia with a lot of shops and when you're in a smaller city in Indonesia, it's a lot cheaper and more affordable to live than if you live in Surabaya or Jakarta or Bali. These are places along close to Java Island in the city. The cities there are more westernized, but I live in a place where it's cheaper to live, and you don't have all the westernized stuff as much, but you have all the local shops and little shops and so forth, and the food and the clothing and the expenses are going to be as much as or is it's going to be it's going to be about 50% cheaper than going to Surabaya or Bali or Jakarta. I live in Solo and Curacao, I guess, area. So here's another little booth with knickknacks and there's drinks and so forth. Uh, and when you have long days, you'll see that people just sit there and they use their phone a lot here because they're sitting here just waiting for customers to buy food. So people will be sitting on their phones. All right, uh, I'm coming back to where my house is. Uh, I gotta go across the street again over here. Okay.